Morning, students. Our today's topic is delegation of authority. Now, students, we have already learned that in an organization there is organization structure created on the basis of which the superior subordinate relationships are established in the organization. And that superior subordinate relationship provides some authority to the superior, and that authority can be utilized by the superior to get work done in the organization. When a manager is working at a particular position in the organization, it is seen that manager has so many responsibilities to carry out. And at times, it becomes difficult for the manager to carry out all the responsibilities which is bestowed with the position to which he is working in a proper manner. As a result of which, that position which the manager acquires in the organization authorizes him to utilize his authority towards the entrustment of responsibility to his subordinates. And from there begins the delegation of authority. So, what is delegation? Delegation is one thing we have to understand, that delegation is between superior and subordinates in the organization. When a person is working as a superior and below him there are subordinates working, he is allowed to utilize or exercise his power in such a way that some part of his work he can delegate to his subordinates, so that he can concentrate more on most important work to which he can devote time to, and rest of the routine work that can be carried out by his subordinates. So that is why delegation, it is something which is considered as a compulsory part or necessary part in an organization, which the superior can do and delegate the work to his, by delegating the work to his subordinates. So what is delegation? Delegation means transfer or entrustment of authority to subordinates to complete the assigned task. When the manager feels that he is overburdened with the task, then what he can do is he can transfer some of his work to his subordinates, and along with the work he also has to give power to take decisions related with that work. That is what is called authority, so that the work can be accomplished on behalf of him by his subordinates, so that there is smooth functioning of the routine works in the organization, which he himself doesn't have to focus upon. So delegation is related with that. Transfer of authority or entrustment of authority to subordinates, and why it is done? So that the work which has been assigned by superior to subordinate, that work can be completed by him. So I have written here, it is compulsory. Sometimes it is asked in the examination, is delegation a compulsory act? How far do you agree with this? Yes, it is compulsory, because it is not possible for the manager or the superior to carry out all the work all by himself. Different natures of work, different types of work all at a time in the organization. So if he delegates some portion of his work which is within his jurisdiction to his subordinates, the subordinate can work on behalf of him and that work can be properly done and the task can be accomplished. So it is something which is necessary. No one manager can complete all the work by himself. That is why it is necessary to see that some part of work the manager gives to his subordinate, and that is why delegation is compulsory, not optional. Each and every manager does it in the organization so that the work can be carried out. Now we will be talking about the elements of delegation. There are basically three elements of delegation. One is authority, another is responsibility, and third is accountability. We have learned what is authority earlier also. Authority means the right to command and exact obedience. Authority is related with power, and that power gives the right to command to a subordinate, and the superior can give command to a subordinate and the subordinate has to exact obedience. So basically it is right to command given by the superior to exact obedience by his subordinate. The responsibility, it is also termed as duty, means the obligation of a subordinate to complete the assigned work. Whenever the work has been given by superior to subordinate, it is the responsibility or the obligation of the subordinate to complete that assigned work. Accountability means answerability for the final outcome, answerability for the ultimate outcome. Once the work has been assigned and it has been accepted by the subordinate and sufficient authority has been given related with the work, it is the answerability of the subordinate to complete the work and report it to his superior. So it is answerability. Accountability means answerability for the completion of work and reporting it back to his superior. Now, some of the things we have to understand related with authority. Authority always arises by virtue of position. If a person is working at a particular position, the structure of the organization certainly authorizes a person to use power related with that position. Whosoever may be working in the position, he will be entrusted with that much power, and that right gives the power to command, and that superior has that power, and that is why it is said it is by virtue of position. When a person is appointed to a particular position in the organization, that position carries that authority which is given to, entrusted to the person to exercise it. So it arises by virtue of position. Whereas responsibility, it arises out of authority. The authority, once it is given by the superior to the subordinate, it is transferred by the superior to the subordinate, it is given in order to complete some work. So it arises out of authority, whereas authority arises by virtue of position, because a person is working at a particular position, so he has that authority, and that authority allows the person to command to his subordinates, and that command is given related with the work which he wants to transfer to his subordinate, and that is why with authority arises responsibility. And once the responsibility has been given to the subordinate, we see that the accountability is of the subordinate. That is why accountability arises out of responsibility. Once the responsibility has been accepted by the subordinate, now he is accountable for the completion of that work and reporting it to his superior. Now, authority may be formal and personal. Formal, it arises by virtue of position. We have already studied. If a person is working at a particular position in the organization, he has that authority. And personal, it may vary from person to person. Two managers working at same position, having same authority, but in the exercise of the authority, the person may differ because of the personality differences. If a person is having a charismatic personality, he will be able to make use of his power in a much better manner as compared to the other person working at the same position. So, person to person, it may differ in the exercise. When we talk about responsibility, responsibility may be of two types. One is responsibility for, and another is responsibility to. Responsibility for is operational responsibility, that is related with the work, and responsibility to is ultimate responsibility, which is also called as accountability. So responsibility is also of two types: responsibility for, which is operational, and responsibility to, which is ultimate. And when we talk about accountability, accountability means ultimate responsibility. Authority, we have seen that a superior has authority over his subordinates, so it flows from top to bottom, downwards. It always flows from top to bottom, from superior to subordinate. Whereas both responsibility and accountability, it flows from bottom to top, that means upwards. Authority flows downwards, responsibility flows upwards, whereas accountability also flows upwards. Superior can command his subordinates, so superior to subordinate will be downwards. Responsibility, that is carried by, the obligation is taken by the subordinate for the completion of the work, and that is why we see that subordinate has to complete the work and then he has to report to the superior. So duty is to be done by the subordinate assigned by the superior, that is why it flows upwards. Duty of the subordinate towards superior. Similarly, accountability also flows upwards because answerability is by the subordinate to his superior. So in this way, the flow of direction is, in case of authority, downwards, whereas in case of responsibility and accountability, it is upwards. We have to understand that. Authority, it can be delegated, because unless and until you delegate the power related with, authority is related with the power to take decisions. It is also said, once you are assigning some work, once the superior is assigning a part of his work, a portion of his work to his subordinate, also the subordinate has to be given related authority associated with the work, so it can be delegated within the scope or jurisdiction of the superior to take decisions. So if he is delegating a part of his work to his subordinate, he also has to delegate power associated with taking the decisions to see that the work is done, so it can be delegated. Responsibility cannot be completely delegated. It can only be partially delegated. We have learned responsibility is of two types. One is operational, another is ultimate. Operational responsibility is delegated, whereas ultimate responsibility always lies with the superior. For example, let us take a situation. If there is a general manager working in the organization and he wants to, you may say, run an advertisement campaign for the organization, and for that he gives order to his marketing manager to draft an advertisement. Now marketing manager passes that work to the assistant marketing manager, and assistant marketing manager passes that work to the deputy manager in the organization. So what is happening? From one superior to the subordinate, the work is being passed. But if the work is not done, then who will be held responsible? It will be the responsibility of the marketing manager who was assigned the work by the general manager to draft the advertisement. Because he felt that that part of work could be done by his subordinate, so he entrusted that task to his subordinate. His subordinate also felt that this is something which is a routine work which can be carried down by the downline, so he transferred that work to his subordinate, and the work was not done. So ultimate responsibility will be of the superior who was entrusted the work. He cannot say that I entrusted the work to so and that is why it could not be done. So we see that the deputy manager will be responsible to the assistant manager will be responsible to the marketing manager, but overall marketing manager will be responsible to the general manager. That responsibility cannot be shared. Ultimate responsibility cannot be shared. It is only that part of responsibility which is shared, which is related with the work assigned. And that is why we say that responsibility is partially transferred. Only that responsibility is transferred which is related with the work which is entrusted by the superior to the subordinate, which is called operational responsibility, or responsibility for, which is delegated, and responsibility to, which is ultimate responsibility, it cannot be delegated. And accountability, we have learned earlier also, once it is accepted, responsibility is accepted, then the subordinate is accountable, answerable. He cannot transfer his answerability to someone else, so it cannot be delegated at all. If the, you may say, marketing manager, he had accepted the responsibility to draft the advertisement, he is fully accountable to his general manager. The person below, working assistant marketing manager, will be accountable to his marketing manager, similarly the deputy manager to the assistant marketing manager. So we see that accountability is something which cannot be delegated at all. Also we see that authority, as you go up in the ladder, in the hierarchy of the organization, the authority keeps on increasing. The person working at higher level has more authority as compared to the person who is working below. Authority can also be taken back and re-delegated to another person. If the superior feels, if a superior has entrusted some part of work to his subordinate, and after some time he feels that the subordinate is unable to carry out that work, he may take that work and reassign to someone else. So once he is reassigning that work, along with that work, that authority will also be provided to complete that work. So it can be taken and given to someone else also. Sometimes in the exam, the questions related with the elements is asked, it may be of 5 marks also. Once it is asked 5 marks, if you write it in points, these are the ways to memorize it also. And if a difference is asked, you can differentiate also by giving these 3 headings, and you create one column of basis. The first column will be related with meaning, the second problem will be related with how does it arise, then types, it may be formal, informal, it may be operational or ultimate, it is only ultimate. Then flow, it flows from top to bottom authority and bottom to top. Then delegation, can be delegated, cannot be delegated completely, or partially it can be delegated and cannot be delegated at all. So these 3-4 points of differences can also be in this way memorized. Now we see that these are the three elements on the basis of which the delegation of authority happens in the organization. And remember, it always takes place between superior and subordinate. If the superior feels that he is overburdened with the work, he can delegate some part of his work to his subordinate and trust him with the authority and make him accountable towards the accomplishment of the assigned work. Now, we also have to learn about the importance of delegation. We have seen that delegation is a compulsory act. It has some benefits also. It is important for the organization. First of all, why? Because of effective management. We have learned what is management. Management means getting work done to accomplish the organizational goals. With the help of delegation, we see that once some part of the work it is delegated by the superior to the subordinate, the superior gets free from routine tasks or less important tasks, as a result of which he can focus more on more important work associated with his position and can get the work of the organization done in a much better manner. So it always helps in effective management. Once there is transfer of work and authority to the subordinate by the superior, so that more focus can be put upon the important tasks to be carried out effectively, which is good for the organization. It promotes employee development. Once the work is assigned to the employee always gets the opportunity to exercise his skill, his creativity in performing the task which has been given by the superior to him, and in this way he uses his mind, he uses his talent, and it helps in improving the performance of the employee in the organization, prepares him for better opportunities to face in the organization. It is always beneficial for the employee's career growth. Third, motivation of the employees. Once the work is entrusted by the superior to the subordinates they feel motivated, because they feel that the superior has trust in the subordinate. The superior has given importance to the subordinate for completing a part of his work, and this motivates a person, this increases the self-esteem of a person, and this is always beneficial for the organization, because if a person or a subordinate is motivated from inside, he will be performing the work in a much better manner, and that will always be beneficial for the organization. Facilitation of growth. If the subordinates working at different places, at different positions in the organization are given the responsibilities to carry out different types of work, that means they are getting training, versatile training related with different natures of work, and if need be, if the organization wants to expand and grow in future, these subordinates who are trained in this manner by taking up the responsibility can also take up better responsibilities in the you may say in the new areas or new divisions which is open in the organization, and in this way the organization will not have to hire people from outside for the same type of work. Basis of management hierarchy. Once the superiors commands, assigns job to the subordinate, automatically a superior subordinate relationship is well established in the organization. The reporting relationship is clear, who the subordinate has to report after completing the work, from where he has to take orders, and in this way the complete hierarchy that is established in the organization in a proper manner, and this always helps in smooth functioning of the organization, because there is no confusion, there is no misunderstanding, and the work is in this way carried out in a much better manner. Then better coordination amongst department levels and functions of management. Once we see that the areas of authority, responsibility is clear, automatically the you may say the departments in the organization, they are able to work smoothly. The people working in the organization, they are happy and they are satisfied, as a result of which we see that there is no conflict which arises between individuals or in departments or within departments or inter departments, and the management and the workers, they are able to work smoothly, they are able to coordinate and cooperate with each other once they are motivated, once they are encouraged, and in this always helps the management to carry out its functions properly, and there is proper synchronization of activities and functions which leads to the achievement of the organizational goals. So thus we see that delegation is something which is very very important for the organization. It is compulsory for every manager to just see which all areas of work he can get it done from his subordinates, so that he can concentrate more on the most important work which can only be done by him in the organization, and if he delegates that work, he will be able to focus on that most important work himself and carry out in a much better manner, and in this way the organization is going to benefit. And if the organization is going to benefit, automatically the employees who are working in the organization will also be benefited out of it, and it is going to provide overall satisfaction to everyone working in the organization, and the effectivity and efficiency of the organizational goals will thus be maintained. So this was all about delegation of authority. The last topic of this chapter is decentralization. We'll be learning about that also, and we'll be learning about the differences between delegation and decentralization, and then end this chapter. Till then, thank you all of you. Take care and revise the part which has been